Feel like we supposed to be doing as soon as you see yourself on.
Yeah.
You been recorded before? Don't sit here and act like.
I mean, this shit, like
they had to translate it though. You speak Spanish?
I speak Portuguese.
You speak good?
Yeah.
You know, ain't no way. How much you speak?
Let me show you my Twitter.
You gotta show the Twitter for you to speak Portuguese. You right here, right now. This is just like you telling me you
não
doing.
pode falar português. Se você entende, mas você não entende. Não pode falar.
I can make up language too.
No. I did interviews, bro, where I couldn't speak English. They wouldn't allow me to. After my first year, they were like, either you gonna do it in Portuguese or you gonna do it in not at all. You're gonna do somebody else.
A gente ganhar o primeiro jogo, esse é muito importante para nossa confiança e
this was a bad one too.
Todo mundo fica forte na cabeça e
I ain't spoke that shit like a year.
Agora só jogo.
This video is a minute long.
Yeah, this is the finals, bro.
Mas amanhã eles precisam jogar mais forte, porque eles querem ganhar.
Bad.
Mas
sounds amazing to me. I don't know what's going on right now. I feel like that was you staged the whole thing.
Yeah, I did a couple of interviews in Portuguese.
Well, you doing an interview in Latonia right now.
We can do it in English, Portuguese.
I
was learning Italian too when I was in Italy. I was learning that shit. I was there for a month and I got to the point where I could order food and shit. I could order my own food.
How long? Let me introduce myself and you can introduce yourself. And we'll pick up right where we at.
All right, bet.
Coach Harper with Hoop Nation sitting here with. Say your name.
Deonta Stocks.
Deonta. The one?
The one.
Okay. Deonta is, give a little bit of background. I'm supposed to do an introduction? I'll give you an introduction. So I don't even know that much about you.
All right,
all I know, I'm going to tell you all I know about the guy. All right. He go to homecomings, it's not even his homecoming. He'll be there. And he gonna turn up at your homecoming. Whoever homecoming it is. Watch out.
Man. Shout out to ASU, man.
Shout out to ASU. 7-year pro.
Yep,
7-year pro. Former West Georgia Wolves, recently inducted into the Hall of Fame for West Georgia after 2 years of stellar activity on the court. Drafted in the second round of the NBA G League by some team in a cold area of a city that I never probably see in my life. Skyforce. That sounds cold. Where's that? It's Iowa or something like that?
Yeah. Iowa.
Which is dope. Former, always Latonia Bulldog. Feel me?
Always.
You know, through and through.
Always.
Black and gold through his veins. And then we just sitting here right now. Current business owner of
Stocks Power Washing, man. Tap in, stockspowerwashing.com.
That's it. It's real. It's full circle. That's how you make money right there. All right. So, but you were just saying about Italian, bro. You were speaking Italian.
Yeah. So I was in Italy for a hot second, maybe like 2 months, 2.5 months, and I got to the point where I could order my own food within like a month. So,
bro, who would it go?
That was dope. I lost, I forgot it, but yeah, I could go, my thing would be, if I go, any country I go to, and they had a Subway, I would go to Subway. That's how I would kind of teach myself. Because Subway, you gotta really, you gotta tell them what you want. You can't, like McDonald's, you can't just walk in there and be like, oh, you mean number 3. Nah, you gotta describe, what vegetables you want, so.
Bro.
Yeah, man.
It sounds like you need to start you a YouTube channel. You need to start teaching people how to translate languages in Subway, from the Subway.
For real.
Live from the Subway, live and direct.
Yeah.
This is a great
they got Google Translate now, though, so.
Alright, well, I got a couple guys that's overseas right now, Croatia and Macedonia. Them dudes is frustrated because they can't speak to nobody. I didn't even know Macedonia had its own language.
Yeah?
I didn't even know that. So the fact that you out here picking up languages in the fast food line while you're trying to get some Doritos. They got Doritos over there?
Yeah, they got Doritos. It tastes different too. It tastes different.
All right, so let's big part of the reason I like to do stuff like this is I like to talk to people so we could be more informative about different processes that come along with the whole basketball situation. You know, as far as like what your experience was from high school to college, from college to professional, stuff in between, stuff you do developmentally, like, you know, just kind of what your perspective is as somebody that's actually, you know, been able to get something out of the game, a whole lot out of the game, to be honest. Just so other people can see it and hear it from a first-hand perspective as opposed to uncles advising and, you know, whoever they're around. AAU coaches is passionate but not knowledgeable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bad high school coaches. Shout out to.
I didn't have a bad high school coach. I don't know what this guy talking about. My high school coach was amazing. He let me shoot 30 pounds a game, so he was good in my book.
It's terrible. Okay,
He was
it's absolutely awful. Your high school coach is letting you shoot 30 times a game. He's bad. All right,
He was
he's
good in my
good.
book,
Nah, he was good then. He wasn't good at the end though. Last time I seen your high school coach, he was in the crowd at Good Morning America. Like
What?
It was Good Morning America was on. I was sitting there watching it. Michael Strahan was on TV and they just panned the crowd. And I said,
He was in the crowd.
bro, what the Coach Jones doing in the crowd up here? What's going on? I swear to God.
Oh my God, bro.
You don't feel like you're moving around like that?
I mean, I could believe that.
Bro, that's what he doing.
I could definitely believe him. I could see that.
All right, so we'll start more toward the end and then we'll work our way backward.
Okay.
Last professional job. You were just talking about being in Brazil, speaking Portuguese.
Yeah.
Being in Brazil. How much time you spent in Brazil?
So I got to Brazil, what was it? Spring, summer of 2017.
Okay.
And I played there 2017. And then I played, it was like the end of 2016, so like 2016, 2017 season, I played that second half. And then I ended up playing, going back the following year, so that's 17, 18 season. And then I went to Uruguay.
Central America?
No, that's South, like
I ain't been in
bottom of the map.
social studies.
Bottom of it's down there, man.
Shout out to Uruguay.
Yeah, shout out Uruguay for sure.
Big Uruguay in the field.
Man, yeah, Uruguay was crazy.
I don't like.
Uruguay was crazy, but yeah, I went there. Whatever, they ain't really like the situation. What I was promised and what I got wasn't adding up, so kind of got out of there, like a mutual agreement, and I went back to Brazil, went to Rio, played for Bosco for a little hot second. You know, things happened, and we were in a little disagreement financially, and had to get out of there. And I went to Sao Paulo, so that was a
That's
great
another
experience.
Brazilian place.
Yeah, it's the capital.
Okay.
So it was a great experience. Sao Paulo was always a great experience. But yeah, so then after that, I went back to Blumenau with the first team I went to this past season. They were under the Flamingo umbrella. So if you know about Flamingo, you know.
Shout out to Flamingo.
Yeah, for sure.
If you know about.
If you know about,
We're about to
know
find
about
out.
Flamingo.
Yeah, everybody know about Flamingo. Come on, bro.
But yeah, so yeah, that was it, man. I went to Saudi Arabia too. That was crazy.
In a good way?
Nah, in a bad way.
In like the how I would assume it would be bad way. Cause like my assumption, you know, I used to watch the news a lot. Saudi Arabia didn't seem like a place you want to be.
Nah, it was like real holy. Like it was real holy. Like it was like
holy
from
like
Brazil to
holy
Saudi
like
was
holy like
different.
praising or holy like bullets.
Holy like praise.
Oh.
Like we stopped practice so that my teammates could pray. Stop the game so they could pray. Like
that's different.
Yeah,
that's different.
Definitely.
Didn't know that was coming.
But it was, you know, it was dope. It was crazy, but it was dope.
Who was with you moving around all these different opportunities? Who was your representation in helping you find contracts and opportunities abroad?
So first it was Jamie Knox, big time agent, man. That's my guy. We cool. And then he linked me with Shasta. Rest in peace, Shasta, man.
Rest in peace, Shasta. COVID is real.
It's real, man, for real. And so yeah, he put me with Shasta, whatever, and got with Shasta, and Shasta put me with a guy named Danny out in Brazil, and I've been working with Danny since.
How hard is it to find good representation? You seem like you had a decent run. I know a lot of guys that are not satisfied with who they with, and they feel like they're not getting the opportunities they're supposed to get, and stuff like that. You feel like,
in the words of my guy Mino, man, shout out to Mino, he over in Israel right now. Man, look, fire him. it's as simple as that's the simplest way to put it. Like, he gotta go. If he ain't providing you what you need, gotta get him out of there.
it's a lot of guys.
It's business at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Because if he's representing you and you're not doing what you're supposed to do, what you think gonna happen? Because if you don't get paid, he don't get paid. So what you think gonna happen if you ain't? He gonna fade away.
Right.
Some agents will be like, "Hey, look, I'm gonna, whatever." But
a lot of guys just get hard to get in contact with. They just get cold.
Yeah.
Fire 'em. All right, but you got to still be plugged in. Like, so if you were to move on from somebody, like, where do you find the rest of the network as far as people that are valid? Because there's a lot of people with social media pages out here talking that they are, agents, and they sign this person, they sign that person, they playing in this area and playing in that area. Like, what do you think is a good process for trying to find an actual agent and actual good representation? Like, you just got to go through guys you know that's on?
First of all, you got to be honest with yourself. And what I mean by that is, I mean, it's gonna sound bad, but I mean, it's the truth. Like, if you worthy of being a chick to play this game. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of guys out here that lie to themselves. They got family that lie to them. And I mean, a lot of guys ask me to, help them get on, and if I don't feel like you're worthy,
that really start with an evaluation. You don't start with context. You start with an actual, real, live evaluation of what somebody's capable of doing.
Exactly. Like, you can't come out of, even if it's a high major Division I or mid major or Division II, whatever. You can't come out of college the same way you went in and talk about you want to get a job. Don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be some kind of progression, and you have, like, the thing about getting an agent is networking. Like me, I never, like, my network is like, I know a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I can reach out to this person or that person because I don't delete contacts. You know what I'm saying? And we got social media now. So
shout out to the 5,000 contacts in my phone.
It's
a real number.
You feel me?
It's a real number.
I believe it. I believe it. But yeah, like, you gotta get, what you gotta do is, you gotta get people around you that's gonna be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? People that ain't gonna sit here and say, "Oh yeah, you can be better than Steph Curry," knowing that you ain't better than the Uber at LA Fitness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the first thing. But as far as getting representation, like, you gotta talk to people that already have agents. You gotta talk to people that are retired, that are going into retirement, or, you know what I'm saying? Because the basketball world is small. Like, it's real small. So you just gotta network. That's all. And do work in college. That's it. Do work in college, agents will come to you.
Right.
So,
well, let's go back to before college. Let's start this joint all the way over, because you're not supposed to be sitting here talking about playing no professional basketball at all.
at all.
At all. So let's get back to the beginning. What year we graduate from Lithonia?
2007.
2007.
Yeah, came out 2007.
Oh head. Shout out to class of 2007.
Came out 2007.
15-year anniversary next year, in case you didn't feel it. Yeah, let me tell you that real quick, Playboy.
Real?
Yeah. I'm on 21. So yeah,
I got level up.
Yeah.
10 years.
Great joints. Yeah.
But yeah, I came out 2007, and
were you a good player in high school?
I like to think so. I was one of the better scorers in the state. I feel like I led my county in scoring. So,
and the county was tough in 2007.
Yeah.
Who else was in the county in 2007?
So we had Cam Tatum. Well, no, Cam was gone. We had Marshawn Brooks. We had
Providence,
Drew Gowlock.
Played for the Lakers.
We had
College in Charleston.
in DeKalb County. Who was it? We had.
Who was at Columbia? Was this after?
Who was that? Who wasn't at Columbia?
Travis already gone?
No, Trav was there. Trav,
UGA,
Lance
UGA.
Stores,
Georgia Tech,
Jeremy Price.
Where'd Jeremy go?
UGA.
UGA.
Was Foot there senior year? I'm not sure. I think Foot came out. Jeremy Lightfoot. I think he came out 06. I think. But
Mufon at Miller Grove.
Mufon was at Miller Grove.
Georgia Tech.
Yeah. So yeah, we had some.
But you led the league. You led the county in scoring.
Yeah, I led the county in scoring.
A little bit.
Yeah. Go something. 29.
Just a little 29 since his coach let him shoot all he wanted to. This was bad coaching to do it.
Hey man, I would have averaged 30 if it weren't for the double teams and triple teams. For real. I would really average 30. That's crazy. But
all right. So given all of that, talk about your recruitment situation coming out of high school. What it was and why it was what it was.
So I had a lot of mid majors. Like I didn't really have. I think maybe UGA and Alabama were my two biggest schools. I didn't have a lot of coming out. I didn't have a lot of high majors. I had like UAB, Memphis when Coach Cal was there. I had Central Florida.
So that's that next tier.
Yeah,
that's that next tier.
Yeah, it was like
especially for the area. Like you get ACC, SEC schools.
Yeah, but I didn't. But the crazy thing is, I didn't even want to. Like my goal wasn't to go to like a ACC school because I knew what type of player I was, and I'm watching all these guys go ACC, and I'm like, he plays like me. He plays like me. He plays like me. So if I go to the ACC, then there's gonna be a bunch of people like me. So that's why I was like, when I got the offer or whatever from UGA, that's why I was like, oh shit. If I go to the SEC, and ain't a lot of players like me in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much big man heavy. So I can kind of have my way.
2007.
Yeah, 2007. So I can kind of have my way. So, but yeah, I did like a verbal commit to UGA or whatever, and it didn't go. I thought it was. Man, science part of the graduation test, man.
The science part of the graduate. Shout out
ruined
to
my life, man. Georgia High School Association, y'all owe me some M's, man.
Shout out to standardized testing.
Georgia High School Basketball Association, y'all owe me some M's, man. Real.
So what happened, bro? So what happened? What happened with verbally committed to UGA?
And so, all right. So after that, I did the SAT or whatever. And so what I had them pass all the parts of the graduation test, except the science part. I think I fell like 3 points. So I go to JUCO at Daytona State. Shout out Coach Andre, man, changed my life. But I went to Daytona State or whatever, and I get there, and they give me what's called a courtesy semester. So they give you 1 semester to get your GED or high school diploma. So I'm like, all right, cool. So every week, I don't even know who was paying. I think Coach Andre was paying for the flights. I don't even remember. But I was flying like every month. I was flying back home to take the test in science.
Every time it was offered.
Every time it was offered. And so I may have took it like 4 or 5 times. And it's just a science part. So I'm flying back. So I got one more chance. I had took it 4 times. I think I kept failing like 1 or 2 points. So I get so it's like Christmas break. So my coach was like, look.
Christmas break, I mean the season is going on.
The season's going on. No. I played in the
Jamboree, the JUCO Jamboree.
Yeah, so I played in the JUCO Jamboree at Columbus State or whatever.
Shout out to C Black.
And at Tallahassee, and went to work. You know what I'm saying? Like I had Florida State, Boise State, University of Iowa. Who else was it? Kansas was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? But those 3 I just named, they were like, yo, we need to answer right now before the season even starts. You know what I'm saying? That you gonna come here. So, and I hadn't even played any regular season games, so I can only imagine. But anyway, so I don't pass the science part again. Coach calls me like, yo, I'm having to pay your stuff because that's it. You can't come back until you get GED or high school diploma. Yeah. So I was like, all right.
So this was just all the science tests, like
this is just the
GPA.
science.
I will say GPA, you were borderline, right?
Yeah.
We went
no,
out
my GPA was cool. My GPA was cool. It was just the science. I just like science
Had to
graduation
pass the graduation test portions to graduate.
Exactly. I mean, I still walked and everything. Like, I still passed all my classes and
Right.
all that, but I ain't get that diploma. And I think a lot of people don't really know this about me. That's crazy. They know now. But yeah, I didn't.
You don't look like the type of guy that would get a diploma in the first place. I'll be honest with you.
Man.
That's crazy.
I didn't get it.
Definitely walked. And he probably turned up at you after situation too.
Oh yeah, A-Town East, man. Shout out A-Town East. Shout out Tank, man.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so after that, I went to, my sister was at Toledo at the time. She left Chipotle in Toledo.
College Stocks.
And
shout out to her.
Definitely shout out to her.
Savage.
And then a lot of y'all, listen, a lot of y'all don't know about my sister.
Y'all don't even know.
Y'all don't know the half.
Y'all don't know.
Y'all better be glad you two weren't popping when she was in high school.
You ain't lying, because Toledo wouldn't know it neither. Well, they know it, but they wouldn't know it for being there.
At all. At all.
Oh my God.
But, so I went to Toledo and stayed with her for like a month and a half. And she basically convinced me like, nah, you need to just go get the GED and go back to school. So I did it, came back home, took the GED. I ain't studying for that shit, nothing. I was like, studying for this job.
GED is tough.
You think so?
I mean, I took some people that weren't of the country. Hopefully it wasn't tough for you, but I used to, I had a job where I was taking people to do that stuff, and I was looking at some of the questions like, man, I don't know none of this.
Yeah, but you gotta think, I'm fresh out. I'm like, this like 2008. So
yeah, it's a big difference.
I'm like,
big difference.
And then I had been taking the science part, and
So you still,
I get to this part, and I'm like, I ain't gotta know no formula. You just gonna ask me.
Oh, GED was that light?
What? Light.
I might have to edit that part out. I don't want to sound dumb around here. Shout out to me for having a 3.4 GPA and
what I'm saying?
1200 on the SAT real quick. You know what I'm saying? I just
See, I ain't even hit 12. I was like 11.
I just boosted it a little bit just to make sure it sounds like I'm real smart right now.
But yeah, so I did
Check my stats.
I did that, and I took that or whatever. Went back down there, and that's when that pill hit. I got back to Daytona probably around March. That pill hit around April, right before the summer. It was gone by July 1st.
What you do with the pill?
But then I did, man. I went and bought. I went in the mall, and this was when Jordan shorts was in. I went and bought all the Jordan shorts in the mall, like all the Jordan shorts. I bought all the white tees. I went in there and went crazy. 2008, man. First pill, man.
Yeah, man. Just shortly after the movie Love Don't Cost a Thing came out.
Yeah, and I hadn't even seen it. That's what's crazy. I hadn't even seen Love. I ain't watched that till like 5 years ago.
Shout out to Christina Milian.
Yeah, definitely shout out to her because she
Nick Cannon, you guys shout you out too, bro. He's doing a lot of damage out here, even though I don't think the comedy funny. Everybody else funny around
definitely
him.
doing damage.
Yeah, he's doing major damage.
He on a rampage right now.
Just don't make no sense.
But yeah, so I ended up doing that or whatever. Didn't finish. Came up a credit short. Man, my life is like a roller coaster for real. Like, for real. Came up a credit short or whatever, and after that, I came back home again. 2008, I was here from like August to December. Then I took a scholarship in Texas, Athens, Texas. You never heard of that?
I heard of Athens, just not Texas,
right? Athens, Texas, man. It's where the Texas Chainsaw Massacre happened at.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was right.
It's a terrible claim to fame.
Oh, it is for sure. But I didn't really enjoy that school. You know, no.
What school was it?
Trinity Valley. Shout out Trinity Valley.
TVCC.
Yeah, it was a good program, but it just didn't. You know, people like me couldn't fit. You know what I'm saying? Small
like
town. Yeah, so it was just kind of like, yeah, I ain't really feeling this. So I came home and I said, you know what?
It's a lot of coming home. Shout out to coming home.
Shout out to coming to the crib, man. And I said, you know what? Man, I don't need to go back to school. I'm just about to go overseas. I'm that good.
That good. Yes, sir. And you sounds like you were that good. Probably you got all these schools is on the tip.
So I thought.
Oh.
It's a different ball game when you talk about getting a check for it, man. You gotta have some kind of credentials. You gotta have some kind of respectable league.
Need a resume?
Gotta have a resume. You gotta have a resume.
So you don't just be good and then just go overseas. Is that what you're telling me?
Nah, I mean now they got camps and stuff like that you can do, but nah, you gotta have some kind of film. You gotta have something that says I can play. You know what I'm saying? Against good level or great level competition. And if you don't,
You won't.
You'll be another red receipt. You'll be another red receipt. So yeah, man. Yeah, so I went there and then
You had so this is we.
we in 2009 now.
We 3 cracks at JUCO in so far.
Yeah. 3 chances.
So far.
And so I get to so I come back home or whatever, I'm playing in these little leagues or whatever. UBA, all that. And somebody said something to me. I was up at Berean hooping, and I used to go up there every Tuesday and Thursday and just kill everything moving. And there's a lot of folks that can vouch for this. I don't lie. One thing I ain't gonna lie about in no basketball. I used to go up there and kill everything moving. So if you ever at Berean from 2009-ish to 2000 and when I went to West Georgia, 2000. Well, I went back to school in 2012. So from 2009 to 2012, if you was at Berean, 9 times out of 10,
You got it.
you got it.
You know what it feel like.
You got it. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up having my daughter in 2011, and then I was just kind of like, all right, I gotta go back to school. Like, I got to. And so I ended up going back to Daytona again. Went back in 2012, 2013. So I get there, whatever. Everything cool. I'm like, all right. They got this clause called the grandfather clause, to where if you're a certain age and you set out a certain amount of time, then you can you still have all your years of eligibility. So I told my coach told me before I left, he was like, don't ever go full time unless you're on the roster.
All right.
So I'm going all these schools I'm going to, I'm going part time. So I'm not burning up any playing time.
All eligibility.
Yeah, so I still got 4 years, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I get to Daytona in 2012, man, and at this point I'm like, in 2007 I was turning 19, so 2008 I turned 20, 2009, 10, 11, so I'm like 24 at this point, 23, 24. And
Also known as a grown ass man.
A grown ass man, dog. Got a kid and all. So I get there, whatever, and when I was at Daytona the first time, I threw this party, right? I ain't gonna name drop, but I had some people come down from some chicks come down from Atlanta to Daytona for BCR, Black College Reunion. I don't even know if they do that anymore.
I don't think they do it anymore.
But it was wild. And so it was a big thing, you know what I'm saying? It was like a big fight or whatever. So basically they told me I had to basically prove that I can do my classwork and stay out of trouble for a year, and then I can play the following
Then
year.
you can play.
Sick. Now I'm 23, 24 at this point, so I'm just like, I've been at this since I was 18. So that's like, I'm 5 years in, 6 years in, and it's like I ain't even
0 games of basketball played past high school that matter for real.
None. And so my coach, we in the car or whatever, I think, or maybe I was on the phone or something, but I broke down. I broke down and I was just like, man, why am I gonna stay here? I can't play basketball. So what am I can go to school at the crib.
Shout out to coming home to the crib.
I can go home. This is not, I've been here before.
Definitely not down here to be a student for a year.
Facts. So he convinced me to stay or whatever. He's like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna fight for you and see if we can get you in second semester to play. I'm like, all right, cool. First semester, 3.5. I'm practicing with the team and everything. Second semester, they fire my coach.
Oh my God, I didn't see that coming.
They fire him. And so the new coach that came in, Coach Ritter, I think he's still coach. He should be a good guy, cool guy. He was like, man, I know, whatever situation, but I'm like, dude, I mean, of course I ain't say it like this, but I'm just like, in a nutshell, I'm just like, I'm 24, I'm about to be 25 years old. or it's about to be 24, whatever the case may be, and you want me to play JUCO for a year and then try to go to Division II at best? No. If I was younger, I would, but that time ticking. You know what I'm saying? And I'm seeing everybody I played with, they league or overseas already, or you know what I'm saying, whatever. And
You over here with no college games played
at all. So I'm like, man, I'm already behind, and you want me to get even further now? So this is where the story gets crazy.
What?
This is where the story gets crazy. So
okay,
I had two of my teammates in Florida at the time. They came on a visit to West Georgia, right? Wait, pause before that. I started talking to Valdosta. It was a guy on the team that played at Valdosta, whatever. Get to talking it up with Coach Hefner.
Nobody was out there. Ray Kennedy out there then?
I think Ray was out there. But not at that time. This was like 2013.
Oh yeah.
2012.
I forgot about that whole.
So this was like
the blip. You had the
man,
Thanos blip.
It was like boom, boom. Like it went from high major to like D2, like that. Like time flew. So I'm talking to him or whatever, and he's like, yeah, you know, we can do a visit, but it's gonna be unofficial. You gotta find a way up here, all that. I'm like, man, I ain't used to this, cause it's like, bro, coming out of high school, like I pick and chose where I wanted to go for my visits. You know what I'm saying?
Phone ringing. They need me.
So now it's like, now I'm basically like begging you to pay for, man. No. So I don't know. I was like, man, I ain't doing that. So they was kind of like, and then they was kind of like iffy. You know what I'm saying? And they can vouch for this. Like they weren't really interested for real. Like I had no kind of film, I no kind of, you know what I'm saying, nothing. So
all right, you were an urban legend at this point in time.
Basically. So my teammates go to West Georgia for a visit. They start. I don't really know how the conversation went, but I just know I got a call and was like, "Would you go to West Georgia? We're gonna do like a package deal with me and them two." So I guess Coach Mooney called my coach Andre, that got fired, called him or whatever, and was like asking about me. So of course he one of my biggest fans, so he like bigging me up and all that. I go on a visit. They pay. He like, all right, we're gonna bring you out for official visit. Next day I had flight information on my email. So I'm like, all right, like I wasn't tripping.
This is from Florida to West Georgia. You don't need to get a flight from Atlanta to
Nah, this from Florida. Yeah, this from Florida. This from Daytona. So as soon as I get off the plane, my phone started going crazy. I lost it. Oh, I'm gonna bring you in for a visit, like all that, like everything that I was asking for at the time. Now all of a sudden they could do it. So I'm just like, man, I'm on a visit right now. Like I'm at West Georgia. And I feel like they knew that. I could be wrong, you know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I feel like they knew that.
It's awfully ironic.
And I didn't know they were rivals. So I had no idea. So like I'm like, it's division. I'm like keeping up division too. Like, no disrespect, but it's just like that was never in my eyesight. So they blowing me, they calling me, texting me the whole visit. So they offered me, West Georgia offered me on the spot, and I was just like, man, look, the road that I came, let's do it. And I signed right down the spot. I signed right down the spot at West Georgia. I ain't even went no thought of nothing.
And West Georgia was way doper than you thought it would have been before you got there.
For sure. When they say best years of your life in college, ask anybody who went to West Georgia.
I can't vouch for all that. West Georgia has a gorgeous campus, plush facilities, and a beautiful student body.
Yeah, for sure. And so,
shout out to Coach Litz.
Shout out to Litz, man.
Litz
This is my guy.
Coach
He down in Florida now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he down in Florida. He like player development, something like that.
Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Alright. So I get there, I get to West Georgia, and I'm gearing up. I'm like, alright, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it. I'm ready to play. Our schedule, we got Bama on our schedule. We got trip to Hawaii not Hawaii, Puerto Rico on the schedule. All this stuff, Coach Cooney telling me all this stuff. I'm just like, yes, thank you, finally my breakthrough. Man, Coach Cooney called me in his office and was like, listen, he was like, have you ever been paid to play basketball?
Oh no, not the UBA. Not the UBA.
I'm like, what? I'm like, no, I never been paid. Like, I played in that job, but they ain't never pay me. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well,
This is what they call amateurism. His amateurism was under
investigation. Yep. So they basically, someone from Valdosta
Oh my God.
reached out to the NCAA with an article from a professional league with my name on it, and was basically saying like he played professional, so he can't. His eligibility has to be gone. So I'm like, yo, it can't be that serious. But again, I didn't know we were rivals at the time. I didn't know West Georgia and Valdosta were rivals.
That's extreme though.
That's
You know?
extreme. So, a long story short, I go through the whole process, like with the NCAA and all that. And man, shout out to Miss Laura Westshore. I don't know if she's still there or not, but she was the athletic. Was she the athletic director, or she was basically the person fighting for me. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I did it or whatever, and they came back, and they was like, well, you have to get, it was like a 2.5. I think they was like, you have to get a 2.5 by December 12th. That's when grades went in order to be eligible to play second semester. Second semester games started December 14th, right? I ended up getting like a 3.4 that first semester.
What a student. Stellar student.
But I missed the Bama game. We lost that in overtime by 3. I know I would have scored 3 points at least.
You had 3?
I had 3. At least 3. At least I would have got 3 points. We lost by 3.
Didn't get to make the Puerto Rico trip.
Didn't go to Puerto Rico. Whole team going to Puerto Rico. I'm at the rec hooping, like on campus, because it was like. And then, so I do all that or whatever. Everything cool. We play on my grades come back on the 11th. I think I end up getting all them to submit the grade. All my teachers submit grades early, mine. And I go to practice on the 12th. We play on the 14th. I go to practice on the 12th, and I roll my ankle. Like bad, like a bad roll, like completely
That's
just.
funny, man.
So that was on the 12th. Then I rehab all day, the rest of the day on the 12th, all day the 13th, and I had an evaluation on the 14th before the game. Before we left, we was playing that shorter. And I do like, man, shout out to Bill at West Georgia. He got me right. But I did there was a bunch of stuff I had to do with my ankle. And he taped it, he put like some kind of skin on the outside of it, and he taped it and sprayed it and did all that. And I had to do an evaluation, it was like a 30-minute evaluation where I had to just do a bunch of different running, cutting. And I did that, he cleared me. And I ended up starting the shorter game. I wasn't even supposed to start. I ended up starting that game because our point guard got hurt. And his toe, he had like a fractured toe or something going on with his toe. And I started that game and ended up hitting the game with a shot. And that's how my West Georgia career started off.
That is crazy.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. At 25, first college game. 25 years old.
On one leg, virtually.
On one leg.
Game win.
On one leg.
What about the Valdosta game? Because you got to get me to the Valdosta game after all this. You got to get me there.
So, I played horrible against Valdosta. I played horrible. And I think it was just because I just... Yeah, it was just like... It was like, oh, we play Valdosta. I got some fun. But it was like... I was just forcing it. Like, trying to force... I mean, I was forcing everything that year. Because, I mean, I was like...
Fresh out of jail.
I was like a damn... I was like a pit bull that been locked up for 20 years. Well, when I got out there, I was all over the place. My coach told me one day in practice, he's like, you think you at the park? You ain't at the park no more. You need to play like you got some sense. Because I was that wild, bro. I was that wild. Like, So, but yeah, I lost the game. I think I had like 10. That was my lowest scoring game. I had like 12 points, 10 points, something like that. Shot had terrible, like 3 for 14 or something like that. Bad, and we lost at home. But my second year, we tore them up. So
Second year, you went crazy.
second year, I went
So
crazy.
keep this in mind. My man just got retired. Like not the retirement ceremony, but the Hall of Fame ceremony was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weekends ago, inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Playing 3 semesters of basketball. That's not regular.
3 semesters. It's crazy.
Second year, we MVP of the.
Yeah, so second year I came in. I wasn't. What really pissed me off was even with how bad I played, I led the conference in scoring the first year, and I led in steals, and they come give me a second team all conference, and I'm like I just took that as like a slap in the face. Like I ain't care about no. Oh, it's your first year. I ain't care about none of that. Like, look at the numbers. I'm leading in steals. I'm leading in points. How am I on second team? Like, how am I not defensive player? Like, it's just like it was just like I was just mad. Like I was mad. So what I did, I didn't come home that summer. I stayed at school, and I stayed at
Shout out
school.
to coming home to the crib, but not this time.
Not this time, man.
What you do when you stayed at the school?
I bought
Campus a little bit dead in the summertime, right?
Oh yeah. Litz gave me a bike. Litz had a bike. He gave me the bike. Our campus was probably like maybe 2 miles, if that, mile and a half maybe. Our campus was a mile and a half from apartments. So, what I would actually probably like 2 miles. What I would do is I get on the bike every morning and I ride the bike to the gym. Now, if you've ever been to West Georgia, we got a like when you go up the hill, it's a hill going up to the library. You make a right and you go down the hill and then back up another hill to get to the Coliseum. So I rode my bike to the gym every day. Real worked out.
That's real work. It was work to get there.
Man, I work on one of my teammates, Taylor. Shout out Taylor, man. That's my dog. But he put in a group message. He was like, "Yo, Stocks on some shit. Stocks on a mission this year." Like that's how much like I was in the gym that much. And then not only that, so we had conditioning. We started conditioning in September or whatever, 6 a.m. So what I would do is we got this hill outside the Coliseum on the back side. And like a real big steep hill. And so what I would do is I would get up at 4:30. And I would go to the hill. We had conditioning Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Monday and Wednesday we would be on the court. So I basically mimicked that. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would go to the hill before conditioning, and I would do 30, 40 runs, hill runs. So I'm sprinting up, I'm backpedaling up, defensive slides, jump roping, doing the ladder, like all this going uphill. And then I would leave from there, and while everybody coming in there, crusting their eyes, I'm drenched in sweat and dirt and mud, and I changed my clothes, put my practice clothes on, go to the court, do conditioning. I did that the whole month and a half conditioning, and man, that shit made a difference. Like it made a difference. So when people say you get out what you put in, it's real. Like it's real because I did that, and when the season came, it was like it was nothing. Like, and I ain't shoot the ball. People thought I shot the ball a lot in college. I didn't shoot the ball a lot in college. I shot the ball 14 times a game. I played 40 minutes. I shot 7 times a half.
Sufficient. Get to the line a lot?
Not really.
You just put that guy in there.
I just took great shots. Like I took shots that I was comfortable taking, that I knew I could make. If I can run hills and come in here and do cone drills for an hour and a half, when you roll the balls out, it's gonna be. I'm not worried about my legs, like, cause I'm gonna be able to outrun and outwork anybody. So, yeah. So I did that, and it boosted me. It boosted me crazy. Like
mental. It's like the mental side of just knowing what you could do.
Yeah.
Was different.
Yeah. Just knowing like last 6-7 minutes of the game, and it's like there's no way you get. First of all, y'all ain't got no hill like this at your school. First off,
Shout out to the landscape.
So even if you did put in some extra work, it wasn't what I was doing.
Right.
So now last 5-6 minutes while you bent over, it's like, all right, it's go time. Like, I got you right where I want you. Like, you dead tired. You hoping I settle for a jump shot and I'm just gonna go past you. Or I'm gonna just make you work for no reason and I'm gonna throw an assist. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, but I took 7 shots a half, man. 7 shots a half. That's it.
Player of the year.
Player of the year.
First team this time.
Yeah, this time was
Yay,
first team finally, right?
You made it.
I had to run hills before conditioned to get first team. Come on.
Yeah, you got to get outside and get muddy. You
You
want
know
first
what
team
I'm saying?
around here.
First team, All American.
But it's Division II, so you played against a bunch of weak dudes, right? Who else?
So-
Who else? Where are these other dudes at? That's first team, second team. Y'all got guys that went somewhere. You got some guys that have some talent around here.
for sure.
Because guys think that Division II, people be stuck on.
That's but you know what's crazy? That's how I was when they first told me, "Oh, it's D2." I'm like, about to slaughter these dudes. You know what I'm saying? But it's not as sweet as you think it is. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these dudes, they got similar stories to me.
But I ain't got your story.
No, I ain't got my story, but it's similar. You know what I'm saying? Like they were high major for. We had a guy come in. I ain't gonna really say what happened, but he got into some trouble. He was at Akron. He won 3 conference championships at Akron, and got into some trouble or whatever, and lost his scholarship or whatever. And he had to come to West Georgia. And now, after the season was over, he ended up getting drafted number 2 in the Puerto Rican draft. The Puerto Rican guy. He ended up getting drafted number 2 in the Puerto Rican draft, and like number 2 overall. And so we had him. I mean, we had another guy I played against named Kevin. What's Kevin's last name? He played at Southern, Florida Southern. We lost to him in the tournament. He ended up getting drafted, going to New York, to the D League, to their D League team, D League at the time. But so he went there. Who else? Had a guy named Devin Schmidt. The year after I left, I think he averaged almost 30 or 25 or something like that, something crazy. He was putting up numbers when I was there though. Like, so you think it's sweet, D2, until you get out there and it's like, oh.
Moral of the story with Division II is Division II basketball it's even more grown man basketball than Division I, because you have a lot of people that end up with eligibility situations, clock starting late or they clock started, and Division I, your clock is after you had your first full-time semester as a student, you got 5 years to play for.
Yeah.
With Division II basketball, they only count the amount of semesters that you were a full-time student.
Right.
So you'll end up having a lot more older people with an opportunity to play there, or you'll have JUCO guys that played great in JUCO, but didn't have the 60 credits in the GPA to go Division I. End up having to go Division II.
Yep.
So that just leaves. I mean, it's
And it's the same thing with football. It's the same thing. We had like 3 or 4 guys from my football team go to the NFL. One's still in there. 2. I think Tyrell. I think he's just a free agent right now. I don't know if he's done, but yeah, Tyrell Adams, he played for the Texans. Alex Armour, he's the starting fullback for the Saints right now. So we had guys that go to the NFL too. So it ain't like it ain't as sweet as I thought it was gonna be.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I thought I was just gonna walk in there and average 30 and go on about my business, but
Nah, it ain't like that. It's a lot of people right now. It's some high school kids that if you getting recruited by a coach at a college, stop looking down on them because it's not the level you feel like you're supposed to be at.
right. And if it ain't the level you feel like you're supposed to be at, put in the work and dominate.
Get outside, go to Carrollton, get behind the Coliseum,
Behind the Coliseum.
get in the mud. Only 4 o'clock in the morning. There's no other time to be out there. All right.
Out there looking, watching your back, looking over in the wood. You hearing stuff in the woods.
You ain't lying. It was West Georgia Wolves out there.
Man.
Glad you made it.
Real.
Tripping. I'd have never been outside in those kind of circles.
I wasn't by myself though. I had my girl at the time. She was out there with me.
With the
thing
on it, just in case.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
She
was running with you.
Yeah, she was running with me.
Man, come on, man. And y'all won't get up, and y'all waiting on your trainer. You waiting on your coach.
But I ain't never had. It's the first trainer I ever had in my life that I consistently went to. I ain't never had some, man. Y'all boys better, take advantage.
It almost sounds good too because I've only known you for almost your whole life. But we only been working for a couple years for some reason because he's a funny acting individual that feel like he's gonna slaughter y'all the same way he did at Berean for his entire life.
And is.
Men's leagues around. All right. So look, we got to go to the first time you played against some NBA guys. Then we got to talk about that one time you played at ASA.
Oh man.
And then we got to touch on them too right there.
That's the one that's going. All right.
So toughest guy you felt like you played against, highest level guy that everybody knows that you matched up against and how that went. Toughest guy that you felt like you matched up against, and then we got to talk about the summer situation with no air conditioning at ASA.
All right, toughest guy I've ever matched up against. Let me see. Matched up like in a 5-on-5 setting or like.
Yeah. I mean, if you went ones with somebody and you was out there with somebody that was remarkable, mention that too.
Okay, all right, we'll talk about that after. I'm gonna talk about these fives first. So, high school toughest person I ever faced, Marshawn Brooks.
Shout out to Marshawn Brooks.
That's the toughest.
Eastside with it.
Yeah.
Tucker High School, Providence, Pryor, former Memphis Grizzly. Currently, it might be in China or something like that.
Nah, he tours.
Currently tearing stuff up. You feel me?
Man,
We'll say it in a positive manner. We're tearing stuff up out here.
Towards Achilles last year.
That's not what I'm.
Still got MVP. That's crazy.
Need no Achilles.
Still got MVP after that.
I don't even need that.
So yeah, he was the toughest. I would say 5-on-5 as far as high school goes. As far as collegiate, as far as after high school or collegiate, my toughest matchup, man. As far as college goes, man, Chris Allen.
Michigan State.
Yeah, Chris Allen is still like that boy tough, man. That boy tough for real.
He's not like a big bag work dude though, is he? He more of an official. I don't really remember.
Chris is whenever, however you want it, that's how he gonna get it to you. From dunking on you, finishing over bigs, mid range, crazy. Everybody know he can shoot threes. That's like his go to. So college, I would say Chris was probably like after high school, right after high school. I would say Chris was probably my toughest. As far as professional, well, I'll go here. First time I played against an NBA player and actually matched up with one was probably, I think Lou was my first. That I actually I guarded him, he guarded me, and Lou was my first.
Lou ain't guarding these summer leagues.
Nah, he ain't got that. See, that's how I am now. But back then, I'm like,
you ready for it?
I'm like, come on, like, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Because you so, you so excited, but. Yeah, man, ain't nobody really playing on defense in the summer for real. Ain't no checks on. But yeah, Lou was probably the toughest as far as 5-on-5 goes. Toughest NBA player. I'll say Lou's my first NBA player. I won't say he's toughest because Lou gonna be Lou. Like, but as far as like guarding and just like being honest with yourself, like, man, y'all can't guard this. Like, I can't. I mean, of course, I'll never say it, but Kevin Murphy, man. Kevin Murphy, dog. Kevin Murphy is probably one of the toughest big guards I've ever faced. For sure. In a 5-on-5 setting. Kevin Murphy. As far as ones go, Paul Delaney.
Paul Delaney.
Yeah, UAB Paul Delaney.
When he
Not
with the
Virginia
Hawks like a
Tech.
year ago?
No, not Virginia Tech. You think
Okay.
about Virginia Tech Paul Delaney. I'm talking about
It's a whole bunch of shout out to all the Paul Delaney's out here.
Chambly Paul Delaney. He went to Chambly.
Okay.
He went to Chambly and he about 6'4", 6'5", played a point. And I was talking, we was at Clark one day and I was just talking crazy. Like, that was when I was on my one-on-one, like, heavy. Like, I only lost one time in my life one-on-one.
No,
Like,
this nigga was Muhammad.
you know what I'm saying? So he was like, all right, man. He was like, we're going to 5. Man, we rolled the ball out. That man took me to the cup 15 times straight. Like, I think I may have touched the ball like twice.
This is
In 3 games. So after that, I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to play point guard no more. Because he played point. So I'm like, man, I don't think I should play point guard. Like, y'all go against niggas like this. Like, nah, straight. So, yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad. And the ASA, first of all, how did you hear?
I was there.
You was there?
I was there. Cause remember, I'm you know, Paul, I'm coaching their team.
Okay.
We had a younger team out there. We had a younger team, you know what I'm saying? The same guys that be up here, Paul, Kevon,
Right.
the guys up across the water right now. But we was all young back then. So they would
Oh,
back
you
home
on the
from college.
backcourt.
We was on one of the courts. The game
I
finished
remember
up.
that.
I'm like, yeah, you know, that's my I went to high school with bro, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my little nigga over there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the game is going on and we over there watching this stuff. After we probably lost to like Jabari Smith and them, we probably lost about 28 or something like that. Cause we young and we windmilling in the layup line and the layup line completely different
Oh, that
from
was
the real
with
game.
TJ.
Yeah.
TJ on the team.
Yeah, Big TJ was playing with us.
Okay.
So yeah, we come over there and we just sitting there watching the thing. And it was a real game. It was a real game out there. Who was on your team with you?
So
Who was on your team with you? You was playing
we
against?
had no. I don't even think we had an NBA player on our team that year. We didn't. We didn't have no NBA player, bro. It was me. It was Amin, the one I just told you about, my partner that played in Israel.
Mhm.
It was Zimi. He's over in France right now. He's playing in Paris, I want to say. Yeah, what's Lowe playing with us? I think Latona was playing with us. He's over in
Shout out to Lowe.
yeah, shout out to Lowe, man. Lowe just got his team the Euro Cup too. They just qualified for Euro Cup. So
Lowe was that's Tulane, right?
Yep.
We got in here in the lab one time. You pull up one time.
Yeah. So he was on that team.
So tough.
Yeah, he man. Who else was on our team? I can't. Oh, we had Beans. My guy Beans. I'll be working out with, training with Beans. Who else? Who else was on that team? Man? We had another guy on there that could shoot. I can't remember who it was.
Now, who were we playing against?
So we playing against Lou, Jared, Jack, old dude from the Sixers, Jermaine Jones. Who else they had?
Probably had, you know.
They had Tay on that team, Tay Barber. Who else they had?
They couldn't have had Jamario Moon out there. You know, Moon always.
Nah, Moon. He wasn't playing with us that year.
I hate watching Moon playing me in the league.
Yeah, man. Moon tore us up in the championship at ASA, man. Man went for like 40. We like, where this been?
Yeah, because he don't be doing that
At all. But yeah, Moon can definitely go though. But yeah, so we playing and we young, you know what I'm saying? And we just going at them the whole game. We going at them, just going at them. And they coming down just waiting for us to, you know, put the pressure on them, and they're in the game. They're like, it's like a less than 10-point game, like maybe like 4 minutes left. So I'm like, I dribble up the court, and I think Jared Jack was guarding me. Excuse me. So I dribble up the court, and I just stop at half court. I'm just like, I'm dribbling, because I'm trying to see, like, oh, come on here, guard, or y'all just gonna keep waiting for us to, like, because we young, so we don't know, you know what I'm saying? We just like, they got, you know, we trying to beat them.
Hey man, they trying to beat them. Let me get my 2 cents real quick, man. We sitting on the sideline. They're up. They're up against these NBA players that we all use. This is what year is this? It's like this is some time ago.
Yeah, I wasn't even. I was. This may have been 2015.
Right. So this is some time ago. So social media, I don't even think I'm at like a social media on there for real. You know, I might be Facebook and that's about it. I'm like
Yeah.
Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So like we're all still kind of we connected, but we still kind of. It's not like right now.
Right.
And we just sitting here watching and seeing here these NBA players is out here like they real NBA players. It's like you don't just bump into these guys. It's like it's NBA players here in Stone Mountain right now, and they out there losing to my guy right now, and it is tense on the floor all of a sudden. These NBA dudes are upset.
They were pissed. Jared Jack was hot. Cause I'm dribbling the ball and I'm just like, and he's like, bro, you gonna play? And I'm like, I'm not gonna play. I was like, bro, we've been forcing the issue the whole game. Y'all ain't came out here and guarded us yet. Y'all just sitting back, just chilling, and we forcing the issue. And I was like, nah, you gonna play some defense, or I'm gonna sit here and cause there ain't no shot clock.
There wasn't no shot
So I'm like, oh, you gonna play some defense? You gonna come out here and guard, or I'm just gonna dribble the timeout? And he came out there, and I don't really know what happened after that. I know, you know, we were kind of jogging back on defense, so we probably scored. You know what I'm saying? And then we end up winning, and he was pissed. I'm like, bro, you mad? You about to go out here and get in the Range Rover on some foes, and I'm about to go get in whatever car I had at the time. I think it was like a Honda or something.
Toyota
Yeah,
Tercel.
I'm like, hey, you mad? What you mad at? Like, all you had to do was come out and guard. So, but yeah, that was definitely an interesting game.
You feel like that's so you got this is crazy. As bad as all this crazy stuff that happened for you, you got two pretty incredible stories just right now off of what we talking about. Do you feel like you've had a better basketball moment than summer league against NBA players that you got a W, or the first game of your college career? Best basketball moment you can think of.
My best basketball moment was definitely the first college game. I shed a tear after that game. I shed.
Did you declare yourself the best player in the world after that game?
Nah. After that game, I was in shock, man. I couldn't believe that I just played a college game, and it was like it had nothing to do with my confidence or anything like that. It was just like after everything I went through, like all the mistakes, all the mislaps, the distractions, the smoking Black and Miles. I ain't even talking about that. Texas will make you smoke Black and Miles, though, for sure. After all that, like I didn't. I still found a way to, you know, get to college and play. So I feel like it was just. I was just overwhelmed with joy. You know what I'm saying? Then to hit the game-winning shot is like. Can't write it no better than that.
Right.
Can't write it no better than that. So.
What we're gonna wrap up. What kind of information, you know, given what your history is, if you had a chance to just talk to a couple kids is pretty good. They got a chance. A couple kids that, you know, just random situations. If you were trying to sum something up, you just had a couple minutes to tell somebody something that you would hopefully, you know, play a role in their development, their outlook, their perspective. Like, what would you tell them?
Be a sponge. I would tell them just be a sponge. Any kind of information that anybody's giving you, just take it. You don't necessarily have to apply it, but just take it because it may not apply to you in college, but it may apply. You may be able to apply it at professional level, or the same thing with high school and college. Like, you know, because being a sponge just lets people. It makes people feel like you're a good person, even if you're not. So if you're sitting here telling me like, hey, you should do this, you should do that, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. And then even if I don't go and do it, or even if I don't apply it, you told me and I received it. You know what I'm saying? And that's more important versus you saying, hey, you should do this, and I'm like, yeah, I ain't gonna do that.
Just being dismissive or defensive.
Yeah, like I don't need to work on that. I don't need to work. Like, man, people. This is the thing. Kids these days, they see players like Steph. They see KD. They see LeBron. They see Damian Lillard. They see CJ McCollum, Luka. All these great players, Jason Tatum, like all these great players they see, but they're only seeing the end result. They're not seeing that the hours that Steph put in to be able to make 11 threes in a game. They ain't seeing the hours that KD put in to be able to shoot 80% from a couple of spots inside the perimeter. Like, and I feel like all the kids want to walk in the gym and start shooting threes. And it's like, no, that's not. Like, that's the end result. Like, you have to start somewhere, and it can't be 30 feet out. So I would just say be a sponge and put the work in. Like, put the work in, and you'll get it. Like, you'll get it, and do your work. Do your classwork. Don't be like me. Do your classwork. Finish school, man. Don't leave college early. Finish school, man.
You left college early?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Don't leave early. Don't leave early.
Do what I do. Don't do what I say. Don't do what I do.
Yeah, exactly. Don't do. I'm like, I feel like one of them dudes that be smoking cigarettes. I'm like, yeah, don't smoke cigarettes. That's me right now. Hey, for real. No, for real though. Yeah, I would just tell them, like, be a sponge, man. Be a sponge. You never know. You never know what somebody can tell you or what somebody can convince you.
So let's throw this in there too, because along those same lines, you were telling me about one of your professional situations where you felt like it interfered with a lot of money you could have made just because of the relationship you ended up having with a coach over you disagreeing with something instead of just receiving.
Right.
You run the situation real quick.
So I was in Italy.
This is for you professionals out there. Make sure you stay professional when you're a professional.
Facts. So I was in Italy or whatever, and the coach wanted me to cover more ground than what was realistically possible. You know what I mean? So he wanted me to run from, naturally, when you're baseline help, you're either 1 foot in the paint or, head directly under the basket. He wanted me to be opposite block, and then he wanted me to get to the corner on the skip pass. And I'm like, dude, that's like, who do you think I am? Usain Bolt? Like, I'm not. That's impossible. So I would get there, and I would get pump fake, blown by. I'd be late. They would shoot it, and I was just getting pissed. And I was just like, I just kind of was like, I ain't doing it. Like, I was just kind of like, at this point, I was just like, if I sprint, I'm not gonna make it there in time, or he's just gonna go by me. If I jog, I'm gonna be late, and he gonna shoot it. So I was just like, man, I'm just gonna go at my own pace. So we kind of had words back and forth. So the next day, he called me in for a meeting or whatever, and he was like, why is it that you always got something to say? And I was just like, it's not that I always have something to say, but it's like you telling me to do something that's impossible. Like, can't tell me to go jump across the Grand Canyon, bro. Like, that's impossible. So he was just like, how many years have you been playing pro? This is like my third year. So I was like my second, third year. He was like, that makes sense why you talk so much. And he like every single day he would say something to me, like every single day. And so after that day, he didn't say nothing else to me, like nothing. And I was on that side where it's like, a coach not saying nothing, you should be worried. Like, I was on that side. Now, they didn't fire me or nothing like that, but I left because I was just like, I ain't really feeling this, so I just left or whatever. But I feel like that costed me some money, because had I just shut up and just did it, you know what I'm saying, even though it was impossible, just if I would have just shown like effort and like, all right, I'm gonna try it, even though he would have been able to, it would have been kind of like a measuring stick, right? So you got me doing this, so if I'm one of the fastest people on the team, which I was at the time, then and I can't do it, and you ain't gonna expect this 35, 36-year-old guard to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I didn't look at it like that. I was looking at it like, man, I ain't about to do this, man. Like, that's not basketball. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes, especially overseas, because they already feel like Americans are arrogant. They feel like, you can't tell an American player nothing, they're never wrong. So, it's sometimes best to just shut up and just play. Like, if you watch guys from overseas when they come home and they play, like, you don't see a whole lot of complaining. You don't see a whole lot of whining to the refs. Like, nah, they just play, because that's just what you're taught. You know what I'm saying? When you're overseas, you just gotta play, because 9 times out of 10, the referee can't understand what you're saying anyway. So he just gonna be like, okay. So I mean, yeah. So you just gotta be like when people tell you to be coachable, like, and that goes back to what I was saying. Like, it may not apply to you in high school or college, but professionally, like, that's big. Being coachable is huge. It's huge, especially like overseas. Some of these countries, man. Look, listen. If you can't be coached, they ain't gonna pay you.
Yeah, overseas is a different situation. You know,
Yeah, for
everybody, these guys feel like if they can't get to the league, they just want to go overseas and like everything gonna be smooth. Like,
Nah,
there's some horror stories over there.
man.
So
I got some stories, for real. I was without AC for like 2-3 months when I was in Brazil. My second year, I ain't had no AC.
in Brazil,
80 degrees in my apartment, no AC. I'm sitting there with butt naked,
Bucket
fan
naked.
on.
and they can't wait to start sweating. That's
You
the only way I'm gonna get cool.
You gotta take a cold shower every 30 minutes. Stay cool. Yeah, it was bad, man. But you know, air conditioning ain't normal. You know what I'm saying? But after that, every contract after that, I didn't care where I was going. I didn't go top league. Don't matter. I went to when I went to Uruguay, I was in League Americas. That's like the kind of like a Euro Cup for like South America. I looked at my contract. I don't see no air conditioning in this contract. I ain't signing that.
Mandatory.
Send it right back.
A/C.
Yeah, and they were like, "You gonna like that's not nah, it ain't." I made that mistake one time, never again. From now on, I'm gonna have everything in my contract that I need. So,
You live and you learn.
yeah,
Learn and apply.
That's it, man.
All right, man. Well, I'm about to get back out here in the gym and do some work real quick. You know, yeah.
Go home, man.
Finna go home. He done put his work in for the day.
Rest, man.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's nice.
we'll be back at it, man. But again, this is my guy Deonta Stocks,
Yes, sir.
jack of all trades. Coach Harper Hoop Nation. I'll let you.
Later.
Right.
Appreciate it.